there's clear to us that there is a certain level of animosity in this committee. So in line of the next topics, what the UNSC discusses, is it realistic for you to pass a resolution, especially with the P5 powers? And is it at all going to be possible for this committee to find common ground on important topics and actually make some change? China.
Well, I believe for such a topic as in the case of Iran, there was no need for a resolution to be found. That is why a press statement was made, because what we as a Security Council can do is extend our hand and attempt to negotiate to improve the situation for all nations involved in the issue. With future topics, as ones that we have on the agenda which we plan to discuss, there we believe it will be a different situation. Here we will also be dealing primarily with non-state actors and combating them. So I believe in such a situation it will be very possible for us to come to a resolution. However, sadly it has been showed that some members of the Security Council have put their personal grievances ahead of actual realistic solutions. Many members of the Council on both sides were able to realistically come to a solution and present this also to the press in a decent manner. Other ones chose not to do so. So we hope that these countries will be able to reflect, and that then for the next topic we can tackle that with a fresh mind.
In the United States?
Yes, thank you very much. We do believe that on a second topic we would be having a resolution here, because we do think that there are not personal interests as so much in the way, as we do see there are certain partnerships between certain countries here in the Security Council and Iran regarding current events taking place, regarding war that is happening right now. So we do believe that in the Nigerian conflict these personal interests are not there, and therefore these countries would be hopefully more willing to work together with the rest of the Security Council, and be also taking more into account the voice of other veto members here present. And yes.
In the interest of time, we will move on to the next question. Do you have it?
I have a question specifically for the delegate of Russia, but then after his answer, other delegates may follow up on it. The delegate of Russia has emphasized the importance of this treaty of being non-partisan, correct?
Yes.
Despite that, doesn't the delegate of Russia think that there could be a resolution passed on this topic that would establish concrete measures for facilitating the negotiation between this council and Iran, and also establish an effective forum for that? And if the delegate thinks that it is possible to do that while being non-partisan, what are the specific measures that Russia would propose to facilitate this negotiation?
You raise it very important. Measures can be multifaceted, and at the same time, with respect to what we said earlier, there's one thing. They require the consent of the parties involved, particularly and including the government. It is not our place to be superimposing things. We can work with the actors and we can develop ideas. We have ideas in mind. We have ideas through economic ties, through embedding Iran in the region, through having them work with actors such as Syria, Israel, other countries, in order to facilitate them by having them not be pariah states. That is a very important point, which in our policy is significant, in the sense of saying we want whichever group in the end prevails in the current disputes to be strong, internationally embedded, in order for them to do well, rather than to be cast aside on the world stage and therefore pushed into more drastic political positions domestically. At the same time, once we feel this is meaningful, the second point about this is that we are in two capacities, and this goes back also to what the United States said. Of course, we have bilateral ties with many countries. At the same time, we are both representing ourselves as nations in the Security Council, and we are working as an impartial international body in which these individual sovereign nations collaborate. These two interests are not the same. The United States may feel strongly about one side of the conflict in Iran, and they may introduce domestically or bilaterally measures which correspond to these feelings. This is different, however, and they are also absolutely at liberty to express these views in this committee. But speaking as the committee and by passing a resolution that says the Security Council decides something, then it ceases to be the case, and it transcends the national interest. And to be mindful of that, of not going beyond what you can do in your own country's interest, but being willing to transcend this identity, to be willing to move beyond national boundaries in this spirit of impartiality and diplomacy is in the end what lies in the interest of the community.
We'll take one quick follow-up if anyone has anything on this. Yeah.
Well, it would make sense to explain why the committee didn't go down this path during the conference, as well, we view such actions as ignoring and looking back at the many human rights issues in Iran and their seemingly unwillingness to cooperate in the past decades. Thus, we view not making Iran face responsibilities for their actions, or still not taking a tougher stance on the issue, betraying many of the founding principles of the United Nations. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Just one very quick question. I'll only take one answer for this in the interest of time. Does this committee, does the delegates in this committee think that the Security Council is the right body to actually establish a framework for negotiation between the Iranian government and the protests? And if so, what exactly can the Security Council do to actually come up with an effective solution on this issue?
First of all, a correction: we are not facilitating, or we are not facilitating negotiations between protesters and the Iranian government. What we are in this press statement intending to say is that we wish to enter negotiations with the Iranian government on the topic. That is what we are referring to here. And once again, China would like to refer to a past success where this was done, where the P5 Plus worked with the Iranian government to set up the Iranian nuclear deal, also on an issue which at the time may have seemed difficult and hard to solve. It needed the Security Council to take a unified stance to work together. These were the P5 nations, so Russia, China, USA, UK, France, plus other nations like Germany. We were all working together to figure out this deal and to get a solution to a difficult topic where all parties had different goals. Unfortunately, as is nowadays known, such a deal fell apart once again because of the politics of one signatory of the Iranian nuclear deal, and with the fact that this that there was abstentions on such a paper press statement, it is worrying that we will end up with a similar result with new negotiations, and that the Iranians may fear it, which is why China believes it is of the utmost importance that all Security Council members reinforce their commitments to negotiations with the Iranian government if we wish them to take us seriously.
Yeah, we are almost running out of time, but seeing as my position at the Onion as part of the reporting team, it would be out of form for me not to make certain assumptions and call out certain facts about this committee. So and we also tend to be impartial, personally at least. So to Russia and the US, just some things you have said, or as part of the committee, Russia, you refer to Iran as a democratic country. However, Russia is also considered to be a democratic country. We know how that goes. So we would appreciate a comment on that. But before, to the U.S., you complain about Iranian leadership and government, but you have Biden as president
Thank you.
currently.
This
Anything to do with
I'm
that?
sorry to interrupt, but the moderated caucus is over, or has elapsed. Would you like to extend for 1 minute?
Yes, we'll take 30-second responses from each,
Okay.
Russia and USA.
30-second statements, please.
Realistically, given that Russia is involved, 2 minutes might be better.
US. I think you were asked first.
Did you hear the question?
Please repeat.
The Onion is just questioning that USA is able to complain about other countries' leadership and government while having Biden as president. Any comment?
Well, the US is very confused of this accusation, as we see ourselves as leading other countries to great success, and we do think we're helping other countries to find the right path, and we are also always offering our help. And we do not see that the US is currently starting a war with an innocent country. And we are also wanting to, for example, in the Iranian situation, to condemn the human rights violations and to not just ignore them. So we do think we have a great leader, and we do think we're a great nation to lead other nations. Thank you.
We are a shining beacon of democracy. we do not aspire to be leading other nations. Unlike the US, we are a sovereign country, and we are undertaking our political efforts domestically through democratic means. Referenda, as we are holding this session in Switzerland, are a very important part of settling the democratic rule of people. We hold referenda about geopolitical choices, about deliberations of succession in certain regions. People are able and facilitated to express their will. They do so, and we respect the results. This is what democracy is about. It is not about one country telling another. It's not about taking leadership as a means to accomplish one's own ends. It's not about trying to be first. It's very much about being a collaborator, and it's about the people, and that's where our priorities lie, and we hope that others feel the same.